everyone, this is Hannah and Cailin, back again with Double Talk. I'm Hannah, and I'm Cailin. Just a couple of years ago, a new type of true crime video emerged on YouTube. While the true crime genre continued to break through into the mainstream through major streaming platforms like Netflix and Hulu, one online channel called JCS Criminal Psychology was able to cut through the noise and truly do something that no one else was doing. JCS, or Jim Can't Swim, shifted focus away from the gore and carnage that documentary shows and horror channels often zero in on, and instead dove into the mind of each perpetrator and how the cases affect and are affected by society as a whole. On the channel, interrogation footage is examined with a fine-tooth comb, and topics like narcissism, gaslighting, and sociopathy become the forefront of the conversation. The channel became so successful that fans quite literally could not get enough. While JCS viewers clamored for JCS and begged for more frequent uploads, a new brilliant mind named Matt Orchard emerged, and Jim Can't Swim became a genre. Today we're talking with the genius behind Matt Orchard, Crime and Society, whose use of the narrative arc has truly put himself in a class of his own. Listen in. JCS has been huge on YouTube, and then obviously you kind of slid in and are kind of filling the gaps because they don't upload as frequently as you do, which is great. While we're waiting for JCS, we got someone else who's got a new voice. Why do you think that style works so well?
The kind of talking directly to the camera and going, oh, hey, I read about this case and I'm going to tell you about it. There's so many like that. I think it is just, it's a change of pace to have a more kind of clinical approach. And it also, I think it allows viewers to paint so much more in their head rather than having personality attached to it. It's more of a, here's how it unfolds, and then kind of, gives you some commentary, but then steps back and lets you kind of watch things unfold, and then comes back in and explains kind of, and here's how things go next, and look out for this and that. But yeah, like the balance of running you through it while also letting you experience it for yourself, if you know what I mean. I think it's just a very effective formula.
We actually looked at the top comment section of your latest video, which I know was a big project for you. It was on the Chauvin and George Floyd case. And a lot of people just really like the way that you're able to stay unbiased in the way that you tell the stories. You tell, all of the information if this is a trial case for both the prosecution and the defense. Is it ever hard to stay so unbiased?
There's a difference between being unbiased and being fair. Everyone has bias. Your life experiences, your opinions on the surrounding issues of whatever you're covering, of course they're going to color the way that you look at it. But just because you can't necessarily control that and be completely impartial just by nature doesn't mean you can't do your very best to try. And that's what I think really all there is to it. I don't think there's that many people out there who actually try. Just go, look, I might think this way, but I'm going to try and be a clean slate, going to look at it just as it is. I'm going to ask myself, how might someone else look at that? I'm going to look at people with opposing opinions and see what they say about that. And then I'm going to represent that without disparaging them. Just try and lay it all out on the table as best I can for, the viewer to make up their own mind.
I guess it makes sense too, because the people who get in front of the camera and speak directly to the camera about these cases, I guess in a way it would be easier to kind of put their own opinion, even if it's not directly saying what their thoughts are, but depending on what they focus on, like maybe they spend more time focusing on the defense or more time on the prosecution.
Yeah, one side look like they're sucking a lemon, and then they'll talk about the other side.
Exactly.
With the Chauvin trial, for instance, part of the reason to do that wasn't necessarily because I thought that both sides necessarily had as much of substance to say. I think there's a difference, just like there's a difference between being unbiased and being fair, there's a difference between fairness and false balance. Because I don't frankly think if you watch all 2 hours of the Chauvin video, there's equal parts to say for both sides. And that's all I'll say. I won't try and push anything on that. But I actually think the reality of legal culpability, at least in that case, is actually quite clear. But I wanted to lay it out in a way that didn't just say that or, push that, but just go, hey, here are the core arguments. here is faithfully what those arguments are, not straw men of those arguments. And here is how both sides presented those arguments. Here are the witnesses they brought on to make them. Here is, that witness being directed, on direct examination. And here's what the opposing side had to say to that witness, condensed, of course. So not all of it is there, but the most important parts I felt are there.
How do you choose these cases? Because on one hand, you covered the Larry Nassar case, and that's gotten, the Netflix treatment, the Hulu treatment. Like, if you have a foot in the true crime door, you know that story. But then on the other hand, one of my favorite videos of yours, The Devil versus Thomas Chan, I had never heard that. And not only that, but I Googled it, and not a lot comes up.
Yeah. I just did that earlier, too.
So I'm just wondering, for you as a creator, do you tend to want to focus on those big cases because you already know that it's going to get people excited, and you already know that people are going to.
Or do you want to teach people about old
cases
that people don't know about?
Yeah, or is it a matter of taking a leap and throwing out a name that no one knows, and hoping that because you're fascinated in it and you've told it in this great way that people are going to watch it?
One thing I will say in my experience, it is an absolute fool's errand trying to predict what the algorithm will pick up. Don't pick up a really, really well-known case and just assume that's going to get you tons of views. Don't not pick up a small case and just assume no one's going to give a shit. Pick up kind of what you said. What do you find interesting? It doesn't matter if it's a huge case, it's been done to death, like George Floyd and Derek Chauvin. If you think something of value to bring to it, that's why you pick it up. So, I mean, something can be big like the George Floyd, Derek Chauvin case and frankly not get many views, which sucks after spending that long on it, but it's about being proud of the piece and it having a purpose. So I'm not bitter about that or anything. And again, like, I don't just presume something's going to be big because it's a big story or anything. It's just about do what you think is going to make a good project, throw it out there, and don't worry about how many views it gets. As soon as you've done it, just move on to the next project. Some will not get that many views. Don't be disheartened by it. Just keep going. And then every now and again, something will blow up and you can, be, ecstatic about that when it happens. But don't invest yourself in it. Don't try and guess how the algorithm is going to act ahead of time. Just make the project you want to make.